What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I got some new news for you. Actually, some continuation of some information that I've gathered concerning Gennady Golovkin versus Danny Jacobs. Since this fight's been announced, it's been a lot of uproar. People's opinions been thrown around. Some people pull the race cards. People do what they do. It's boxing, right? Let me give you guys a little facts about both fighters, okay? Let's start with Gennady Golovkin, okay? Myth. This is a myth. People think that Gennady Golovkin is a brawler. He's not a brawler. He likes to brawl. There's a difference. He's a puncher that likes to brawl, but he can box. A guy that has 350 amateur fights and only lost 5 of them. If he was a true brawler, he would have lost a lot more than that. In the amateur rankings. You know what I mean? That brawlers really don't, roll over well. They roll over well when they hit pro, not the other way around. And those are the only 5 fights he's ever lost in his life were amateur fights. So the guy can box. Like I said, Gennady Golovkin, he likes to brawl at certain times, but he picks and chooses his times to brawl. Like times to brawl, Martin Murray, Proska, guys like that. He likes to get in there and exchange punches. Macklin, but he knows not to do that against someone like Lemieux. Did you see any brawling when he fought Lemieux? No. He saw boxing. He kept him at bay with the jab. That straight jab is a pawing jab, but it stings. You know what I mean? And it was like a viper, and he placed it in David Lemieux's face. And I believe that particular punch broke his nose. I don't think the right broke his nose or the left. I think that jab broke Lemieux's nose, but it did what it's supposed to. It kept him at bay. It kept Lemieux far enough because Lemieux couldn't throw his own punches. He couldn't get that just crashing right hook, that right hand or that left hook he liked to throw so much. He couldn't get any of those punches off because Golovkin boxed him all night. So there's no doubt about it. Yeah, Golovkin likes to brawl, but he's going to pick and choose the times when he brawls or not. So saying that, since he didn't do that with Lemieux that has hard punching power and a high knockout percentage, you think he's going to do that with Danny Jacobs. Now, speaking and mentioning of Danny Jacobs, let's talk about him for a minute. Danny Jacobs is a fighter. He's faster than he's faster than Golovkin. He's fast. He has a good jab. He has good fast combinations. And he has a great right hand. And he also has a high knockout percentage. In fact, he has a higher knockout percentage than Golovkin. So, and he can move, But the question is, will he move against Golovkin? You know what I mean? And will he do the right thing? Because the way to beat Golovkin is to move, to make your spots count and get out of there. You know what I mean? And he has the reach advantage. Jacobs has the reach advantage, and a lot of times you're hearing this saying too, oh, well, Danny Jacobs doesn't have a chin. It's suspect. You know what I mean? It's iffy. But let me tell you this. Everyone wants to judge him by the fights that he had against Sergio Mora because Sergio Mora was able to put him down in the first fight, right after he put him down, Sergio Mora to the canvas. So they shared knockdowns. And everyone looked at that like, oh, whoa, wow, if Sergio Mora can do that, what Golovkin can do. That's partially true, but it's reaching. And I'm going to tell you why it's reaching. Because Danny Jacobs, first of all, the reason why he got caught with that punch, he didn't see it coming. And that could be anybody, and that's one of the strengths back to Golovkin. One of his advantages, he's always balanced. Whenever he throws a punch, he's never off balance. If you notice, he does that shifting because if he ever gets caught, he knows that he has his balance, his legs up under him. And make no mistake about it, you'll see a little dance when Kell Brook uppercutted him. A little bit, a little tad of, because the legs don't lie. The legs do not lie. When someone gets hit, he says, well, I didn't feel that punching power. Maybe he didn't feel it the way he thought he would feel it. but he felt something, or his legs felt something, or his legs would have done that little bit of dance. So the point I'm trying to say is, just because Mora dropped Jacobs, and, you know, this is Sergio Mora, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I believe he underestimated Sergio Mora. You think that Danny Jacobs is going to fight Golovkin like he fought Sergio Mora? Really? I mean, you know, people reach a lot with that. You know, it's going to be a well-defined attack, you know, but it depends on what strategy that Danny Jacobs decides to do. What happens when he lands his right hand and he lands it the right way? You know, what happens when Golovkin lands to Jacobs, when he finally catches Jacobs? If that's the case, this fight might be over quickly. Look at the Peter Quillin Jacobs fight. It was over first round. You know, this fight might not last. You know, I hope it's a great fight for both guys. You know, again, yeah, I applaud them both for taking the fight, but this is what you're supposed to do. This is boxing. You know, so everyone's all happy about it. Yeah, I'm excited about it, but I mean, this is really supposed to be the normal standard protocol of boxing. It's sad that it ain't. However, back to the comparison between these guys, man, it just depends who does what first. You know, but I don't see Golovkin, you know, I don't see him letting Danny Jacobs use the ring. You know what I mean? And hey, another factors that people don't talk about: the referee and the size of the ring. Since Jacobs is fast as he is, he's going to want a bigger ring. He's going to want more room to move. Whereas Golovkin, he's not like molasses, because Golovkin he uses his speed more of a timing speed, you know. And those punches loop, and he can angle those punches and position them in the right way. So if Danny Jacobs does a lot of that Iris Landy Lara covering up type of stuff that he's known for, he might get caught with punch that he won't see because it'll come around the guard, you know. And basically, I just see Golovkin just running right over Danny Jacobs, but really cutting the ring off and just breaking him down that way. You know, if Danny Jacobs decides to move and use that type of approach in that game plan, stick him and move him, stick him and move him, well, Golovkin then will adjust like he did with Lemieux. I don't think that he planned to go in there and just box Lemieux. I think what happened, he started doing something and Lemieux was not able to adjust. You know, and he's going to adapt. You know, and I don't know if Danny Jacobs can really adapt, but no one can really adapt to someone punching hard. You know what I mean? Especially if a punch keeps landing and then they land hard enough to hurt you. Eventually, it's going to put you down. So I don't really know if Danny Jacobs possesses those type of abilities being a boxer. He is an intelligent boxer. But, you know, you look at the Pit Rogue fight, I think that fight was some bullshit. So, you know, I did a video about it. Check it out, whatever. But honestly, man, I really feel that this fight, it has a potential of being a good fight. But I see Golovkin cutting the ring off. If Danny Jacobs can't land that right hand the way he's supposed to and keep him at bay with his jab, Golovkin's going to come right in. He's coming anyway. Golovkin's coming. Seek and destroy like a Terminator. He's coming. You know, and then the only way that he can keep Golovkin back is to fight Golovkin. You know, but he has to fight him in spots. He can't trade with him. You know, because we know, you know, regardless of Danny Jacobs' chin, we already know that Golovkin has the better chin, right? So, you know, 9 times out of 10, we could pretty much guarantee that Golovkin can take Danny Jacobs' punch more so than the other way around. You know what I mean? So, but all these, oh, well, Danny Jacobs' chin and everything like that, dude, that's a totally different fight, and this is a totally different fighter. You know, so we can't say that. Danny Jacobs has a very good chance of winning. He only lost once. You know, so Golovkin has lost none, but that doesn't make him invincible. You know, if Danny Jacobs can land that right hand and keep him at bay and execute his game plan, he could win. You know, maybe by knockout, who knows? But, you know, it depends on how the punching power affects Golovkin. That's what it really depends on, because if Danny Jacobs catches Golovkin with a right hand and he smiles and it doesn't do any effect, Danny Jacobs has 4 or 5 rounds tops. He's going to be done. I give him round 8. He'll be gone. Because Golovkin and then it's just going to chop you down. And then, it's just going to be up to the resistance that Jacobs has at that point to keep getting back up. Because he's going to get hurt. Because Golovkin's going to hurt you. That's what he did with Kell Brook. He had no respect for his punching power because well, this guy can't hurt me. You know what I mean? So if Jacobs can't hurt Golovkin, bye-bye Jacobs. But if Jacobs can hurt Golovkin, it could be a whole different fight. Jacobs could win. He could win by knockout. But that's my take on it, man. That's my analysis on it. And I've done this now instead of, 2 or 3 weeks up until the fight, And I'm going to stand my ground on it. You know what I mean? But anyway, you've been Counterpunched. Check out my Facebook page, Counterpunch Boxing News. Peace.